Hi, this is our presentation for Group 1 on air pollution. My name is Fiorella.
I am Harut.
Celia.
I'm Elizabeth.
I am Nathan. History of air pollution. Air pollution has been around as far back as people learned to burn wood for fires. In the late 1800s, the idea of seeing smoke coming out from the stacks meant jobs for people. This issue became a major problem for the health of citizens. People were leaving the cities to get away from the contaminated air. By the middle of the 1900s, people thought using coal would be the better solution for less pollution. With that idea in their minds, it ended up causing public health disasters in the 1950s. Over time, we faced the challenges of humans' lifespan being less than they normally would be, also losing thousands of people to air pollution. We tried to pass laws to fix it, but we know we need certain facilities to run the city, state, country, or even the world for us to survive. And now I want to pass it to Ferriola.
All right, so the causes of air pollution. Here we have listed the 10 main causes of air pollution, which are industrial emissions, the burning of fossil fuels, wildfires, indoor air pollution, transportation, the microbial decaying process, construction and demolition, the open burning of garbage waste, the use of chemical and synthetic products, and agricultural activities. All right, so industrial emissions. The smog problem has been critical in certain cities like Los Angeles. Companies are producing raw materials every day using coal and wood as their primary energy source, and the effects from this are the industrial emissions. The activities of these big industries emit several pollutants in the air, negatively affecting our air quality. The main pollutants these industries produce are nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and carbon monoxide. This can take a toll on our health, resulting in a range from irritation in your eyes and throat to breathing issues, and can even result in chronic illnesses. The burning of fossil fuels. So fossil fuels are the product of the decomposing of plants, animals, and other organisms buried under layers of earth that took a period of thousands of years to form. Because of how long these fossil fuels take to become so carbon rich, they are non-renewable sources of energy. Fossil fuels are burned and used to supply heat, transportation, and electricity. They also fuel the factories that produce all of the products that we consume. When cars are moving and factories are working, these fossil fuels are burned, releasing carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases that contribute to air pollution and global warming. There are four main groups of fossil fuels. Coal is an important pollutant that is used and produced mainly in China, India, and the United States. Coal supplies a third of the world's energy. Another type of fossil fuel is oil. Crude oil, which is mainly composed of carbon and hydrogen, produces petroleum from wells in different parts of the world. This production not only contributes to pollution, but its transportation has also been the culprit of several ecological disasters. Another fossil fuel is natural gas. The extraction of natural gas in the United States has been increasing for the past 2 decades due to advances in drilling technology, which made it possible to surpass the use of coal in the United States. The United States has become the top natural gas producer in the world, followed by Russia and Iran. I'll now pass it over to Harut for wildfires.
Thank you, Fiorella. After doing extensive research, I have discovered that a new study conducted by researchers from the University of California at San Diego have explored the risks associated with exposure to pollutants emitted from wildfires. To understand how pollution specifically derived from wildfires, which can impact consumers' respiratory health tremendously, the researchers found their analysis on fine particulate matter levels in Southern California as an example. They utilized the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's hazard mapping system, which highlights smoke exposure and compares that with levels of particulate matter during seasons without wildfires. And it has come to my understanding that as pollution levels increased, hospital admissions also increased. However, exposure to wildfire smoke caused hospital admissions to rise even higher. For examples, studies showed that hospital admissions jumped from 1% when emissions levels increased, whereas wildfires increased hospital admissions to a staggering 10%. It proves that air pollution from wildfire smoke is more harmful than any other pollution sources. Indoor air pollution occurs when certain air pollutants from particles and gases contaminate the air of indoor areas. These air pollutants can cause respiratory diseases or even cancer. In developing countries, the main source of indoor air pollution is biomass smoke, which contains suspended particulate matter, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, and etc. After doing extensive research on that, I have come to understand that millions of people around the world prepare their meals using traditional methods such as wood, charcoal, coal, etc. Such inefficient practices increase the amount of air pollution inside the home tremendously and can also cause serious health problems. According to the World Health Organization, over 2 million deaths occur every single year due to indoor air pollution. Therefore, indoor air pollution is significantly more dangerous considering how concentrated the air is in indoor environments. For example, one of the main causes of indoor air pollution is smoking. Smoking is the leading cause of cancer, especially lung cancer. The best thing to do is to quit smoking and make your home an anti-smoking zone, because the less the smoke is emitted into the air, the less of a chance severe problems will arise in this indoor environment. Every little change will make a significant difference. I will now pass it to Liz to talk about transportation.
Thank you. Transportation, being one of the main contributors to air pollution, emits more than half of the toxins that fill our air. The vehicle exhaust tends to cause dysfunctions with almost all organs in the body and has been one of the most major causes for global warming. Buses, cars, trains start to produce both primary and secondary pollutants into the air from the moment they operate. Primary pollution consists of the air being exposed to chemicals right away, while secondhand pollution is the reaction of chemicals bonding to the air and creating more pollutants. Some of the main chemicals caused by motor vehicles are greenhouse gases, carbon monoxide, and sulfur dioxide. Motor vehicles are also producing emissions that contribute to global climate change, mostly carbon dioxide. All global warming pollutants in the United States account for tailpipe emissions from vehicles, trucks and buses, automobiles, trains, and ships, accounting for over 30% of all gas heat trapping emissions. Sulfur-containing fuels, in particular diesel and coal, are known to produce this pollutant by power plants and motor vehicles. Sulfur dioxide can lead to fine particulates in the atmosphere and pose great health risk to young children and asthmatic conditions, as do other air pollutants. These tailpipe pollutants can pose major health risks for everyone due to the impacts of global warming. Heat waves have become normalized and have intensified, causing major droughts throughout our city. And on top of that, our heavy-duty forms of transportation like trucks and buses cause almost a quarter of global warming emissions from the transportation category. There's only so much we can do on our behalf, which includes driving less, which is difficult for those who live in larger cities like ourselves. However, when it's possible, we could take things like public transportation, ride bikes, or carpool with others. And if we do choose to drive, we must learn to drive efficiently by maintaining the car oil's life and going easy on accelerating. Nowadays, we have things like electrical vehicles that require no gas, like Tesla. And in the near future, there are plans to help create more electrical cars and ban cars that run off gas. Next on the list, I do have a microbial decaying process. Microorganisms aren't the main focus in air pollution studies. However, they still contribute to a small part in regulating climate change. This process includes the decomposing and breaking down of organic matter back into its original form. Decomposition is a natural process. However, microbial decomposition consists of chemical usage to break down these organisms, which can cause disease or fermentation. Food protection issues are critical because microbial contamination can lead to a wide variety of foodborne diseases. There are a variety of outbreaks in which there is an infection of fresh products and animal products, with pathogenic bacteria, viruses, and protozoa is identified and origins are exposed. Foodborne outbreak research has shown that some causes of infection involving meat processing and fresh products, namely at an early point in the food cycle. In order to prevent future chemical pollution from decomposition, we could use things like heat stabilizers, which prevent decomposition, antioxidants that use oxygen to prevent the process, and mildew proofing, which protects plastics from bacteria or mold. Next, we have Cecilia to talk about construction.
Demolition. Okay, one of the biggest causes of construction demolition waste is the burning of fossil fuels like gas and diesel. As a result of burning the waste, we are releasing carbon dioxide to the atmosphere and cannot be recycled. In the United States, demolition reaches a total of 90% of debris, and much of this waste is disposed in a landfills or throughout incineration. Construction and demolition materials are created during the process of building a new building or construction or structure, or when renovating or demolition and existing structure. Oh, I hate this. That's been there forever. These materials are usually heavy materials used in a large volume of modern construction, such as concrete, steel, and wood. The main causes of construction and demolition waste are steel, reinforced, pre-mixed concrete, and pipes and wires. In 2018, 16 million tons of waste were created due to construction demolition, and 143 million tons resides in landfills. Open burning of garbage waste. Open burning of garbage waste is the process in which unwanted material and produce are incinerated at a low temperature, and it's estimated that 41% of global waste is burned openly. The effect of burning waste is the smoke from open burning can cause serious effects of health. Smoke from burning garbage trash contains many toxic pollutants that can cause cancer and other serious health issues. Open burning waste is unhealthy and harmful air pollutant to public health. Burning prohibited materials such as garbage, plastic, and painted or treated wood is harmful to the environment because these materials release toxic chemicals that pollute our air. Open waste burning release significant amount of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, that carbon dioxide, which are typically associated with air pollution and can lead to serious respiratory diseases. I'm going to pass it to Nathan now.
Use of chemical and synthetic products. If you don't know what chemical and synthetic products are, it's basically the items we use almost on a daily basis. It could be using perfume or cologne for you to smell good, the Febreze we use after the bathroom, and also all of the chemicals that we spray to clean anything. All of these products contribute to air pollution. A most common chemical is pesticides, which is used to prevent plants or pests from coming in contact with what we grow. This usually affects the farmer's health because they have high exposure to it. Another chemical that affects us is flame retardant, which is used to prevent fires from happening. We use it when there's about to be an outbreak on a huge fire. This chemical is in packaging, housing, computers, and many baby products, which can lead to a breakdown in the nervous system. There are also many more chemicals that are out there that has affected us. Agriculture activities. Farms are a major source of air pollution. Agricultural pollution is ammonia, which comes from the heavily fertilized soil and livestock waste. We also produce ammonia on our own, but since it's heavily concentrated on farms, it takes a bigger impact on the environment. The ammonia comes in contact with other harmful particles. This creates aerosol, which can penetrate the lungs and can cause diseases. What we are doing and how we are using it is a need to society. This is the only way we can produce food unless we figure out another way to prevent as much as we can. Although we can't control ourselves or the animals when they relieve their waste. Eventually, we have to cut down on all the other things that can cause air pollution. Then agriculture activities will be the least of our problems. Now I'll pass it back to Fariola.
All right, effects of air pollution. Air pollution can have a variety of effects on human health and the environment. Millions of Americans live in areas with heavy smog, toxic pollutants, and particle pollution, causing a serious threat to their physical health. People exposed to too much air pollution for a long period of time could experience irritation of the eyes, nose, and throat, wheezing, coughing, chest tightness, breathing difficulties, worsening of existing lung and heart problems such as asthma. It could also increase a person's risk of heart attack. On this slide, I chose an image that shows the pyramid of effects caused by air pollution. Bottom tier affects the most people. with the effects being less severe. The top affects the least amount of people, but the effects are more severe, as you can see. Children, older adults, people with heart or lung disease, and people who spend most of their time outdoors are at the highest risk of being negatively affected by air pollution. Apart from human health problems, air pollution can cause negative environmental effects. Air emissions of nitrogen oxides from power plants, cars, trucks, and other sources contribute to the amount of nitrogen entering aquatic ecosystems. This speeds up eutrophication, which is the heavy concentration of nutrients causing algae to grow, which in turn kills plants and animals in that ecosystem. Other environmental effects of air pollution are acid rain, haze, ozone depletion, crops and forest damage, and global climate change. And I will now pass it over to Liz for potential concerns.
So air pollution is a leading environmental risk factor that will continue to affect populations around the world. The impact of pollution has affected our health. As Fiorella stated before, it causes things like premature diseases and deaths. Breathing in dirty air affects more than just the lungs. It affects all organs in the body and has caused a number of health issues, including things like leukemia and fertility issues. It also has majorly affected our climate, water, energy, and food supply. For example, rainfall patterns have decreased in major cities like our own due to large amounts of air pollutants, as well as creating irregular weather patterns. Energy-wise, haze and dust from the air has reduced solar yields and solar panels' energy output. And on top of that, the pollutants can really be harmful to plant cells and disrupt the photosynthesis process, while these particles start to reduce the amount of sunlight that is able to reach the crops we produce, which will then shorten our natural food supply. All these issues could lead to a complete drought in our natural resources. And now I pass it on to Cecilia.
Sorry, I was on mute. Present issues due to pandemic. The air quality during the pandemic got better since the presence of traffic-related emissions decreased due to the fact that many people were staying home. Carbon dioxide and nitrogen dioxide can come out of gas-powered vehicles drop significantly. In places like Los Angeles, where their air quality is very poor, the change in the air pollution was significant during the start of lockdown. The same change in air pollution was seen in other major cities where traffic dropped significantly, even though the change in air pollution was short-lived due to the fact that people started to drive again in the gas power in the gas powered cars. It gave it an idea to what would happen if any people switched to electric cars. Sorry, guys. I pass it on to Haru. Solutions already being used.
Thank you, Cecilia.
Yeah.
There are several measures taken to reduce air pollution, such as measures for road vehicles, sources other than road vehicles, and measures taken at a national or regional level. Measures taken for road vehicles include reducing the amount of traffic and ways to improve other travel options. These include good and clean public transport, good cycle facilities, low emission car sharing schemes, or appropriate town planning. There are also emergency traffic restrictions in times of high pollution taking place. For example, banning all or even specific vehicles, diesel bans, and allowing only alternating number plates on odd or even days. Examples of measures for sources other than road vehicles include emissions control of factories and power stations. Many cities have air quality action plans to improve air quality. They often include implementing a low emission zone as one of the single most effective measures. What is included in an air quality action plan will depend on the most significant sources of pollution in the city and how they can be reduced. More measures include controls on construction sites. For example, reducing demolition dust using cleaner fuels, newer vehicles, and fitting equipment like diesel particulate filters on diesel construction machines. Also, improving energy efficiency plays a huge role in solving air pollution. Lastly, measures taken at a national or regional level include financial help, such as grants or tax incentives for cleaner vehicles. For example, in many countries, efficient cleaner vehicles have cheaper road tax than inefficient, dirtier vehicles. Also, having legal frameworks to allow or require action at the city level and funding for public transport are all solutions being used already. I will now talk about what we can do ourselves to minimize the problem. So we have everyday tips to reduce air pollution, which includes conserving energy at home, at work, everywhere. Looking for the Energy Star label when buying a home or office equipment. Carpooling, using public transportation, biking, or walking whenever possible. And lastly, following gasoline refueling instructions for efficient vapor recovery, being careful not to spill fuel, and always tightening your gas cap securely. Extra steps to reduce air pollution when high ozone levels are expected include choosing a cleaner commute, such as sharing a ride to work or using public transportation, combining errands and reducing trips, and in conclusion, walking to errands when possible, avoiding excessive idling of your automobile, refueling your car in the evening when it's cooler. Extra steps to reduce air pollution when high particle levels are expected include reducing the number of trips you take in your car, reducing or eliminating fireplace and wood stove use, avoiding burning leaves, trash, and other materials, and lastly, avoiding using gas-powered lawn and garden equipment.
All right, thank you for listening to our presentation on air pollution. And here we have our works cited.